Hey everyone. Even after 4 years, it still amazes me what you can create with Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy because of the open working time, but you can really create some really cool designs. This was one of them, and this was a customer that wanted black, silver, a little bit of white in there, and then a little bit of brown, and a little bit of glitter. So let's just jump right in and I'll show you how I created it. And I started off with, this is basically it's a wash coat, and a lot of times you'll put this down so you can help the epoxy flow a little bit better. But in this case, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create some undertones. When I pour the colors out, there's going to be some clear that has some glitter in it. And then through that clear and that glitter, the undertones that I'm creating right now are going to kind of peekaboo through and give it some depth and give it some really cool looks. And here's what the finished product looked like for the customer. Really turned out really nice. So the colors that I'm using, I have aluminum and white pearl, which are just resin pastes. And then I'm also using Onyx, which is a gel tint that's in that taller container that you see there. Those are basically the colors. And then here in a little bit, I'm going to be adding in some Alumilite brown dye. But now, again, this is kind of the foundation, and I'm just very lightly getting those colors melded in. Then I want to stand back, take a look at it, and make sure I don't have one color overtaking the other, and that's exactly what happened there. So I'm adding a little bit more black into that aluminum, just because that aluminum really has a tendency to want to take over, and it certainly did. Now I'm going to add in the Alumilite brown dye, which always looks so cool. Oh man, that is gorgeous. Oh baby, ooh. Really liking that. I'm going to add veins to that, but I don't know that I want to. Man, I really don't want to run any veins in there, but the customer really liked the vein that I had in the sample board, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's run it right through here. So when I run this through here with nothing on it, you can see how it disrupts the metallics. And then I think I'm going to branch off and go right through there. And I'm only going to do one vein. If I do more than one, it's not going to look right. So I'm going to start off with just a little bit of black. So when I create veins, whether they be accent veins or main veins, what I've discovered is I want to use a lot of spray paint colors, and I'm just taking some of that spray paint, spraying it on the end of my stir stick, and then I'm running those veins in there. But the more colors that I use, they all stay tight to the vein, especially if I wait just a little bit. And that's a picture of the finished product of after I got the customer's countertop done, and you can see that Alumilite brown dye in there, and then you can see some of those veins I ran in there too. Now, compared to the sample boards, the customer wanted more black, and that's why I had less silver, I guess, in the customer's countertops. Wow, so I really like how these turned out. As you can see, the colors have softened up a lot. So let's do a flyover and get some close-ups. There's kind of a distant shot, and then when I zoom in a little bit, you can see how much the colors have all softened and kind of melded together. And the Alumilite brown dye really makes a big difference, and it's just absolutely one of my favorite colors. There's that bling, and a lot of that, remember those, when I put down that wash coat, that's how that bling is, you're seeing some of that black underneath the bling. There's some of that Alumilite brown dye again. And then the veins that I ran, even though I used 5 different spray paint colors, they really don't show up that much until you're standing over the top of it. So that vein that I just ran, which starts here, and then kind of moves along, and it Ys off that way, and then it Ys off that way. So as I continue the flyover on this piece, and then we'll move over to the second piece, stay tuned after these flyovers, because I'm going to show you what the finished product looked like for the customer's countertop. There's that bling in there again. In person, it just looks, I'm not going to say it looks so much different, but it does look so much different in person. But this wasn't a difficult design to create. You saw how I melded the colors in to begin with. And then it's a matter of being patient and kind of letting the epoxy work and letting the epoxy flow. That brown Alumilite dye, that's why I add that in after I have put all of my colors in, because I want that to be more prominent, because it is such a pretty color. So all in all, the only thing the customer asked for was to have a little bit more black and less of the silver. So let's just jump over to what the final product looked like for the customer. There's one of those veins that I ran. And so this is a little bit darker, but you can see where there's a couple different, there's a black metallic and then also the Onyx black that was in there. And there's also some copper veins that I didn't show adding because the customer had wanted some copper accents in there. But it's, when you look at that, it's not just a solid black, especially when you're looking at it in person. It really adds some really cool undertones. And the veins really added a lot. I think the veins really took it to another level. They really look pretty. This piece that you're looking here is their standalone kitchen island. And again, the detail in those veins, it's just amazing. The customer absolutely loved their top. This is the high gloss. This is after the flood coat. And then what I did was I applied the Ultimate Top Coat Natural to give it more of a matte finish. And those colors ended up popping even more than what you're seeing here in the picture. And then this piece here is the main countertop. You can see the sink cut out. They did go with an undermount sink, which after getting installed, it really looked nice. But again, I could walk across this thing and look at this thing just nonstop because it really turned out pretty. How those colors meld and how those colors end up flowing together. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I like Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy, because you have such a long open time. There's that bling in there. That's actually mother of pearl, which is a just resin glitter. And you can see how it provides kind of some greens and some blues and just a really cool bling, I guess. But again, back to the epoxy, because I've got about an 1.5 to 2 hour working time. What that also does is that allows that epoxy to continually move and flow and allow those colors to really blend in. That's why you really need to be patient when you're working on designs, to allow the epoxy to give it time to do its thing. There's that copper or one of the copper accents, I guess, that the customer wanted in there. And then I'm going to pan in on another one of the veins. But see how that silver and that pearl just kind of give, I don't know if I want to call it a ghostly look or a ghostly effect, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I really enjoy creating countertops, and I really enjoy trying to get that customer's vision in my mind, and then that helps me kind of bring their vision to life. It helps me bring them exactly what they're looking for without have to shop around at all the different slab yards. And can you imagine the cost of a piece of exotic stone that would have this kind of detail in it? It would be hundreds per square foot. That right there is probably one of my favorite veins. Not just the main vein, but also the accents on each side of it. Absolutely turned out beautiful. So this was really a fun project. Had a lot of fun with it. Here's one of the other pieces, smaller piece that goes beside the stove, but it all ended up flowing together very well, blended together very well. See how those copper veins, how they'll kind of match up once the kitchen is all put back together again. So thanks everybody for watching. This is a project that was really fun to do, and it always starts off with a sample board of getting the customer's vision, putting that on a sample board. From there, they kind of fine tune it and tell me what they like, what they don't like, if they want more of this, more of that, and that's what we ended up doing, and that's just how this piece ended up. So thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs, and we'll see you on the next video.